Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of Sailing Volupia. In this episode you're going to see us sticking the Perkins 410 back together. We found out what the problem was in the end. The problem was the gearbox. So while we were motoring from Falmouth to Foy, the gearbox must have had a small leak in it, and that we were motoring for about 6 hours, so it ended up running dry, which made the gearbox go, and it went just as we were at the harbour entrance, which is always the way. But it was good that we stripped down the engine and replaced most parts, because we found out there was going to be an awful lot of future problems. We had a lot of pitting in the number one piston. There was parts that wasn't working, there was parts that were on the way out, we had leaks in the fuel lines, alternator wasn't working and stuff like that. So it was quite good that we found those problems and rectified them with a big help from Mark. So in this video you'll see us putting it back together. I could have showed you hours and hours worth of footage of us putting it back together, but we decided not to, so we just decided to give you a couple of little clips and pictures and stuff of us putting it back together, rather than you sitting there for hours. As lockdown eased, the Foy harbour moved us from that pontoon we were on round to a swing and mooring, which was quite nice as well. I want to say a big thank you to them. The harbour master and his lads looked after us really well, and they also looked after Jem while I was away back in work. So that was good to them. So thank you fellas. So if anybody's not been there, have a look back at some of the videos that I've done on previous episodes. One of them when we were on our old boat, when we sailed from Plymouth to Falmouth. We stopped in Foy for the night, and there's some good footage of what it looked like there. Absolutely gorgeous Cornish town, so it'll be worth checking it out if you've not been sailing around those ways yet. So thanks for watching everyone, and I hope you enjoy this film. So with the Perkins engine looking so old and tired, what we decided to do is buy some spray paint from Parts for Engines and spray paint it all so that it'll start looking new.
New head, and we've got new inserts for the injectors. We're going to let this settle for half an hour now.
So you can see here me and my friend Mark using the torque wrench just to make sure that we've got the right tightness on all the bolts.
He went a bit further. Yeah. Okay. So I think that's all of them. Now they need to go.
You can see all the parts slowly coming together and slowly starting to look absolutely brilliant.
Which film stars Harrison Ford as an F?
So the gearbox that we had in Volupia before we broke down was a Herf 250R. So during lockdown we couldn't find a replacement anywhere. Checked the internet, even checked over in America, couldn't find absolutely anything. So what we did do is we could find a 150, a Herf 150 gearbox on eBay. So we decided that was going to be a quick fix, and there's the old one there.
What?
Just making a video. There's the coupling. Here's the engine all ready to go in. So what we're going to do is going to fit a new one of them onto that coupling in a minute, then stick the bell housing on the back of there, take down this spray hood, stick a block so that we can sling the engine into this position here and then sort of slide it in, drop it down, stick it in the new gearbox onto there, and then should be good to go. Fingers crossed. Could sink the boat. So as you can see in this is before and after of what it looked when it was partly built.
Busy around here today. And someone trying to squeeze a massive catamaran in between Mark's boat and the yacht next to it. They've been there for about 15 minutes.
So one of the things Mark taught me is how to do a full service, changing the oil, changing the filters, using a feeler gauge and stuff like that for future reference. Right, so fingers crossed. Let's get the, and it's helping me use the right key. So it's entered the first notch and none of the needles move, which doesn't look good. And then, nothing. So then after we had the engine fully built, we were struggling to get it started. It was some sort of wire and loom problem. So what we did is we went on the Perkins 408 page on Facebook and stuck out if anybody had a wire and loom diagram. And there was a fella, absolutely great, called Matt, popped up and said, yeah, I can come over and give you a hand. So there's Matt and Mark working together and to get the engine started for us. As you can see here, we've had a little oopsie. We somehow got water mixed with the oil, but that's a story to tell you another day because we're keeping this video quite short. So once we had the engine up and running, we tested it on the buoy that we were sat on, and she was all good. So the next day that we got her out for some engine trials up and down the river Foy, and all went good. So we went alongside that night, done our planning, and then set off our adventure the next morning. So this is us setting off on our adventures, leaving Foy after 4.5 months. So big thank you to Foy Harbour Commission, the Harbour Master and all his lads, and a big thank you to Mark and Matt as well. Nice one. Cheers fellas. And if you haven't already, get yourself on the RNLA website and give a donation. Thanks everyone. Ta-ra.